So good morning students. Today we're going to start with a new topic, that is this is Jody's Fawn, and today's portion that we will do is from pages 87 to 90. Daily learning outcomes. This is the learning outcome for today only. That is to read a text to comprehend. To comprehend is another synonym for understanding, to understand. Why do we read? We read to understand. Then to improve your reading skills, to improve how you read. Now reading involves the usage of correct pronunciation, correct intonation, correct sound, where you have to increase your voice, where you have to lower your voice, and also very importantly the punctuation marks. Every full stop, every comma, every exclamation mark, every question mark has a certain pause, and all those pauses you need to follow while reading a text. Okay. Then next one is to identify new words, phrases and vocabulary. You will find many new words in this lesson, or any new thing that you read, you will always find at least maybe one or two new words which you have never seen or never heard of before. So in this lesson also we are going to find many new words. Then we have phrases, a group of words. We may find clauses. Then we also find vocabulary. Vocabulary are new words which you add to your dictionary of the mind, which you need to use in your conversation. Every day if you learn two new vocabulary or two new words, you can add that to your conversation. Okay. So now reading the text of pages 87 to 90, I found these new words here for you. If you want, when you read the text, you may find something new which is new to you. So I found these few words. You can write this in your book, and if you find more, you can also add that. Okay. So these words you can copy down in your exercise copies, which will help you. Words like drift, slip from the table, dilated, thieving elsewhere, hemmed in, acorns, fawn and doe. These are the words that I have found. You may add more, or I can say you may delete some from this group of words. If you think that what ma'am is given, I know this word, then you don't need to write. So whatever you find new, you write down in your copy. So let me start the lesson by asking you the meaning of home remedies. What do you think home remedies means? Exactly, home remedies, the solutions we find at home. Yes, so home remedies are those kind of remedies that we use for day-to-day cuts and bruises, and if any accident happens in the house, we use home medicines. For example, our grandmothers, our old generation, they know a lot about plants. So in case you get cut on your finger, maybe your grandmother will put some saliva on that, and she'll go and break some leaves, some tulsi leaves or some neem leaves from outside, and she'll come and crush it and she'll put that on your hand. So these are all kinds of home remedies. When we have fever, our mother will put a cold compression on the head, or a cold piece of cloth. She will dip it in cold water and put it on our heads. That is a home remedy. When you are having gas in your stomach, you take a piece of ginger in your mouth, you eat that. That is a kind of home remedy. So all of us have some kind of home remedies that we usually do at home, and when things go out of hand or when things become serious, then we run to the hospital. But it's like a first aid that we do at home, the first treatment that we give to our cuts and bruises at home. So that is also home remedies. Many people prefer doing some sort of home remedy instead of going to the doctor, or instead of taking a medicine for fever or for maybe loose motion even. You know the meaning of loose motion? I hope you know that. So some people take home remedies for this. So this lesson also is also about a home remedy. Not so much about a home remedy. It's about a boy who loves animals, and who it was with a very heavy heart that he shot a small fawn, and how he wants to go back and take that fawn, or rather bring that fawn home. This is a story about a boy named Jody. His name is Jody, and fawn is a baby deer. Okay. So before you read is mentioned in what is there, you can see on the screen. Often, instead of rushing to the doctor to treat a small cut or burn, we find quick and effective means or cures using things available at home. Can you think of some such home remedies for a cut on your knee? A cut on your knee means putting some water and cleaning it with the towel, right? Then a burn on your arm, maybe some cold water, ice water, maybe a piece of ice, and then maybe some cold compression. We put a piece of cotton with cold water or ice in it. Then we also have a bee sting. What do we put on a bee sting? If a bee, bumblebee, a bee stings you or bites you, what do we put? We put lime. Lime as in in Assamese we call it boga, or people eat with betel nut. Betel nut means tamul pan, the white thing that they eat, or chuna or boga we call it. So that is a good remedy for using on a bee sting. Sometimes the caterpillar also goes on your body and you begin to have itch on your body begins to scratch. Some people say if you put that lime or that boga on your ears, you will become better. So in this story, Jody's father has been bitten by a rattlesnake. Rattlesnake bite is a fatal bite. People die with that. He quickly kills a doe and uses its heart and liver to draw out the poison. Jody wonders what will happen to the little fawn left without a mother. So in this story, Jody's father has been bitten by a rattlesnake, and immediately the first reaction is to kill a doe and take out its heart and liver and to take out the poison from Jody's father's bite. That is what, and then Jody begins to wonder what will happen to the fawn who is left without the mother. This is what the story is about. So now we will continue with the story. So now we see that Jody's father has been bitten by a snake and they have killed a doe. Doe is a female deer, yes, and then the female deer, that is the doe, had a baby, a fawn there, and this fawn is now left without a mother. And so now the father is saved because he used the heart and the liver to draw out. Draw out means to take out the poison from his body. So now father and son have returned home. Let's see what happens. Jody allowed his thoughts to drift back to the fawn. Drift back means to think. Now he is home and he is thinking about the fawn that they left in the jungle. He could not keep it out of his mind. He had held it in his dreams in his arms. He had taken hold, he had held the baby or the baby deer or the fawn in his arms, and he could not take him out of his mind. His thoughts kept going back to the fawn which was left alone in the jungle. He slipped from the table. Slipped from the table means he did not fall. He left the table very quietly, very softly. He left the table and went to his father's bedside. Now his father is in bed because, as you remember, he's been bitten by a snake and he just can't go about starting his work. He has to take rest. So he went to his father's bedside. Penny lay at rest, and Penny is his father. His father's name is Penny. He was laying in the bed. He was resting. His eyes were open and clear, but his pupils were still dark and dilated. Dilated means his eyes, the black portion. Pupils means the black portion of the eye, that brown black ball that you have in the eye. That was dilated. It had become big because the poison was still there in his body. No doubt he was out of danger, but then he still had to take rest, and there were still signs and symptoms of the poison in his body. Jody said, "How are you feeling, Pa?" "Just fine, son. Old Death has gone thieving elsewhere." "But wasn't it a close shave?" Jody asked his father, "How are you doing, Pa?" Pa is a Papa. "How are you doing?" And the father or Penny says, "I am doing fine, son." And he says this dialogue, you see, "Old Death has gone thieving elsewhere." Old Death means, like in Hindi we call them Yama, no? Yama, the god of death, he comes for you, it seems. So he says, "Oh, old Death, Death has gone thieving somewhere else. Death has gone looking for somebody else. Death has left me now. I am not going to die. Death has gone looking or thieving elsewhere, gone to look for somebody else somewhere else." But wasn't it a close shave? Oh my God, son, but I nearly died, isn't it? Close shave means nearly died. A narrow escape. He nearly died, but thankfully he was saved. I agree. Jody said, yes, Pa, I agree. Penny said, I'm proud of you, boy, the way you kept your head and did what was needed. The father, Penny, was very, very proud of Jody, and he tells Jody, I'm very proud of you, my son. The way you kept your head. The way you kept your head here means he didn't get nervous. Not that he kept his head in his pocket or in his arms or in his hands, okay? Please. The way he kept his head means he stayed without becoming upset, or he stayed without becoming nervous. He didn't show his nervousness. He kept a cool mind. Yes, a calm and cool mind. And did what was needed. You did whatever was required. You did that to save me. And I'm very proud of you, my son. You did all that was required to keep us or to keep me safe. So his father thanks him for all that he did while killing the doe for the heart and the liver. Now Jody says, Pa, yes son, Pa, do you recollect the doe and the fawn? Recollect means, do you remember the doe and the fawn, the doe that we killed in the forest, in the jungle? Jody asks his father, that is Penny, who is sleeping on the bed. Then Jody tells his father, I can never forget them. The poor doe saved me, that's certain. So Penny says, his father says, I can never forget them, because Jody asked him, do you recollect the doe and the fawn? And Penny said, yes, I can never forget them, because the doe saved my life. Pa, the fawn may be out there yet. It might be hungry and very scared. So now he's trying to tell his father something about the fawn. And Jody tells his father, Papa, the fawn is there still. The fawn is all alone. It's still a baby. It was still drinking its mother's milk. It is still out there. It might be hungry and very scared. Jody tells his father, I suppose so. He says, yeah, I think so. It must be scared. It must be hungry. Pa, I'm a big boy now and don't need to drink milk. Why don't I go and see if I can find the fawn? The boy, Jody, tells his father, Papa, I'm a big boy now and I don't need to drink milk. I don't need to drink milk. This has some significance later on in the story. You will come to know why he says this part. I don't need to drink milk. Why don't I go and see if I can find the fawn? He tells his father, why don't I go to the forest and look for the fawn and see whether I can find the fawn? And bring it here, Penny said, and bring it here and raise it. That is what Jody told his father. Penny lay quiet, staring at the ceiling. He lay quiet because his mind was racing. He began to think of what his son was telling him. That is why he suddenly became quiet, because he was thinking. Boy, you got me hemmed in. He says boy. Boy means just lovingly, like we call beta and all that. He called his son boy. Boy, you've got me hemmed in. So you've put me in a situation where I can't say no. I'm in a fix now, he told his son. It won't take much to raise it, Pa. So he's trying to convince his father. He's telling his father, it won't take much to raise it. Raise it means to take care of it, to make it grow, to take care of it and keep it with us. It won't take much to raise it, Pa. It'll soon start eating leaves and acorns. It'll soon start eating leaves and acorns means it will not need milk forever. Once it becomes big, it will start eating the leaves that are growing, and all that comes free. And acorns are kinds of nuts. It will begin to eat all that. You are smarter than boys of your age, Penny told him. Oh boy, you are smart. Smarter than most boys your age. We took its mother and it wasn't to blame. Then he's still further trying to convince his father and telling him, Father, Papa, we took its mother, we took the fawn's mother, and it was not to be blamed. We cannot blame the doe for that. So why do we have to punish the fawn also for that? The mother we killed. So it becomes our responsibility to take care of the fawn because we killed its mother. Surely it seems ungrateful to leave it to starve. So now slowly his father was getting convinced. His father said, yeah, surely it is ungrateful to leave it to starve. Starve means not to have any food, because the fawn has not yet learned how to eat grass. how to eat nuts, how to eat plants, because it was still drinking its mother's milk. And so surely the fawn would die. It would not eat anything. It does not know how to eat. So the father said, yes, I think it will starve. Son, I can't say no to you. I never thought I'd live to see another day. The father said, my son, I can't say no to you. So because I never thought I would survive the rattlesnake bite. I thought I would die. And thanks to the fawn's mother, that is the doe, that I am still alive. And I cannot say no to you. So now we see that Jody was able to convince his father. Can I write back with Millville and see if I can find it? So Millville may be a person who stays with them. Okay, name of a person. So he says, can I write back with Millville? Write back means go to the forest and look for the fawn. Tell your ma I said you can go. So his father says, okay, you go with Millville and tell your mother that I have said yes for you to go. He sidled back to the table and sat down. Sidled back means quietly he went back to the table in the kitchen and he sat down there. His mother was pouring coffee for everyone. He said, Ma, Pa says I can go bring back the fawn. She held the coffee pot in midair. She was pouring coffee and she stopped pouring and she stood still with the coffee pot in her hand. And she said, what fawn? The fawn belonging to the doe we killed. We used the doe's liver to draw out the poison and save Pa. She had forgotten about the fawn and she said, what fawn? And then Jody explained to her which fawn. She gasped. Oh, like that she did. Well, for pity's sake. So she was not very happy with what her husband and Jody had decided. Pa says it would be ungrateful to leave it to starve. So now he had another task of convincing his mother, and he said, Pa says it is very, very ungrateful to leave it to starve. It will die in the forest. Dr. Wilson was there in their house. Maybe he had come to see Penny, or he had come to see Jody's father. So he was there in the kitchen and the mother was pouring coffee for everyone. That's right, ma'am. Nothing in the world comes quite free. The boy is right and his daddy is right. Dr. Wilson said, yes, the boy is right and his father also is right. Nothing in this world comes for free. Whatever you have in life, it comes with a price. You want to buy a small bread, you pay the price. You want to come to school to study, you pay the price. Whatever you have in life comes with a price. Yes, of course, except your parents' love for you. That has no price. That comes for free. And we really respect that. Yes, says whatever that in this world, it does not come for free. The boy is right and his daddy is right. Dr. Wilson also was agreeing with Penny, with the father, and he said, yes, they are right. We need to save the fawn. Millville said, he can ride back with me. I'll help him find it. So Millville also said, yes, I shall take him with me and I'll help him to find the fawn. She set down the pot helplessly. She could not say no because the father is the ultimate, the boss in the house. We can make out from here. So she just put the coffee pot, she put it down on the table helplessly. She could not say no to Jody because the father had already given the permission. Well, if you'll give it your milk, we've got nothing else to feed it. Now, see the significance of the milk. The mother says, okay, if you want to bring the fawn, you will have to sacrifice your milk. You will not get milk anymore. Whatever portion of milk that you drink, you will have to give it to the fawn. We have got nothing else to feed it. We have no other thing, no other milk to feed the fawn. Ma Baxter asked anxiously, you will not be gone long. So the mother also, Ma Baxter means the mother. Yes, she also was nervous because already her husband had been bitten by a rattlesnake and now her son wants to go back to that place. And so she told her son, you won't be long, no, you'll come back soon. Jody said, I'll be back before dinner for sure. Yes, Ma, I'll come back very soon, don't worry. Millville mounted his horse and pulled Jody up behind him. So in the picture you can see how Millville is riding his horse. So he got up on the horse and then he pulled Jody behind him, and they both rode out into the forest to go and look for the fawn. So Melville had promised to help Jody find the fawn. So here we can see that Jody was determined to bring the fawn home and to take care of it. This shows his great love for animals. Like we all love animals, so also did Jody. And you see his heart, it's so kind, his heart. He thought about the fawn living in the forest without its mother, and he knew for sure that this fawn would die. So he was quite determined to bring the fawn home. So Melville pulled Jody behind him, and then as they were riding, Jody asked Melville, "Do you think the fawn's still there? Will you help me find him?" He asked Melville, "Will you help me to find him?" And then Melville says, "We'll find him if he's alive." "How do you know it's him? How do you know it's a he?" he asked Jody. "Why are you calling it a him? It can be a her also. So how do you know it's a him?" So when Jody said, "Will you help me find him?" then Melville said, "How do you know it's a him?" And then to this, Jody's reply was, "The spots were all in a line. On a doe fawn, Pa says the spots are every which way." So he says the spots were all in a line. Now the deer has these spots on the body, and when he had seen this fawn, he saw the spots were all in one line. They were just very well lined up. On a doe fawn, Pa says the spots are every which way. Doe means a female. So in a female, the spots are everywhere in the body. But in a in a male fawn, it is in a straight line. That is why he said, "I'm saying that it is a he and not a she." So I hope it is clear to you. Now we have this comprehension check, some 4 questions. This you will also do for homework, like I have mentioned in the homework page, which is coming up. What had happened to Jody's father? How did the doe save Penny's life? Why does Jody want to bring the fawn home? And how does Jody know that the fawn is a male? These are the 4 questions that you will have to write the answer. Okay, please do this for homework. So this is your homework. Imagine you are standing with your mother in the kitchen while she is cooking. Suddenly oil from a hot pan splashes on your hand. What would be your first reaction? Why? What would you do next? What would be this slight mistake here? What would be your first reaction, and why, and what would you do next? That's the first question that you have to answer in short. Okay. Next one is frame a sentence with the phrase "a close shave." Just with this one phrase, frame a sentence. Then, as I told you previously, do your comprehension check on page 90 of your textbooks. There's 4 questions are there. Please do this for homework and submit to me on 4. That is tomorrow. Submit me your homework by 9 p.m. in Google Classroom. So whatever you have not understood, you can always message me and ask me. You can underline the lines which is not clear and ask me. I will explain it to you again. So that's all for today. Have a good day. Bye bye.